Hey everyone, welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into a company called GroWrk
GroWrk.
and how they're using AI
Yeah.
to kind of flip the script on IT asset management.
Yeah, you know what's fascinating to me about GroWrk is they're not just like,
Yeah.
dipping their toes into AI. They're like full on cannonball
Yeah.
into the deep end, and they're doing it on a global scale.
Okay.
So they're managing these IT assets through the whole life cycle.
That's pretty ambitious.
It is.
It is. But from what I've been reading about them,
Yeah.
they're pulling it off.
They seem to be.
They've got this AI platform called GroWbot,
GroWbot, yeah.
and it sounds pretty amazing. I'd love to hear your take.
Yeah, so what's really impressive is how they're applying AI to, the entire IT lifecycle management picture.
Okay.
So think about predicting hardware failures before they happen.
Whoa, okay.
Making smarter decisions about, when to upgrade or replace equipment. And even customizing tech recommendations for individual employees.
Wow. Okay, so let's break that down a little bit.
Sure.
Can you walk me through some specific examples of how GroWrk is actually using AI to manage this whole IT lifecycle globally?
Yeah, so let's start with predictive maintenance.
Okay.
This is where they're using AI and IoT devices
Okay.
to kind of spot those potential hardware failures.
Got it.
Before they, disrupt everything.
So instead of waiting for a server to crash and cause total chaos,
Exactly.
they can kind of anticipate that.
Yeah, they're using machine learning to analyze patterns in the data from all these different devices.
Okay.
And then they can flag potential issues before they, become major headaches.
That's a game changer for businesses. I mean, downtime can be a killer, especially these days when everybody relies on tech for pretty much everything.
It's essential.
Yeah.
And, beyond just avoiding downtime.
Yeah.
Think about the cost savings,
Right.
You don't have to constantly replace expensive equipment, and you can actually extend the lifespan of your assets, which is great for sustainability, too.
And that brings up another point. I wanted to talk about data-driven decisions.
Yes.
So from what I've read, GroWrk is leveraging a ton of data
A massive amount.
to train their AI models. Can you unpack that a little?
Yeah, so they're gathering data from all sorts of sources, like historical records, operational data, even market trends.
Wow.
And they're using all of that to train GroWbot to make more informed decisions about how to allocate those assets.
Right. So it's not just guessing when to upgrade a server. It's really using the data to pinpoint.
Exactly. It's about optimizing those decisions.
Yeah.
To save money and make sure you're not, scrambling at the last minute.
And it all kind of feeds back into their commitment to sustainability.
Absolutely.
Which we touched on earlier.
They're really big on that.
Yeah.
And GroWbot helps them to identify, opportunities to reuse or resell or refurbish equipment.
Wow.
So it minimizes waste. And, they're really thinking about those ESG principles.
Okay. And it's not just about, being environmentally conscious.
Right.
It's also about making IT management overall just smoother.
Exactly.
More adaptable.
More efficient.
So I read about how they're using AI to optimize workflows.
Mm-hmm.
What does that involve exactly?
So it's AI is being kind of woven into the fabric of their everyday operations.
Okay.
So it's about having those real-time insights.
Okay.
Using predictive analytics. And even self-learning capabilities.
Self-learned. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
That sounds like
it's pretty futuristic.
It's straight out of a movie.
I know, but it's happening.
Okay.
GroWbot is actually designed to constantly learn and adapt as it's being used.
So the more data it processes, the smarter it gets.
The smarter and the more efficient.
Wow.
So it's not just about automating tasks.
Right.
It's about constantly improving how those tasks are done.
So it makes IT management more responsive, which is crucial in a world where tech is always changing.
It's evolving so rapidly.
Yeah, I'm starting to see how GroWrk's approach could have a huge impact on how companies manage their IT assets, not just globally, but within individual organizations too.
Yeah, it's a big shift.
Yeah.
It's about moving beyond just efficiency and sustainability. It's opening up new possibilities for innovation and growth.
And it all comes back to their focus on managing that global IT lifecycle.
Exactly.
It's not just about making things work within one company.
It's a much bigger vision.
Yeah, it's managing the flow of technology on a much larger scale.
It's about creating a more connected and efficient and sustainable IT ecosystem.
That benefits everybody.
Ideally, yes.
Okay, so we've talked about some pretty amazing applications of AI and IT management, but I want to switch gears for a second.
Sure.
Talk about the people who actually use this technology.
Yeah.
How is GroWrk using AI to improve that individual user experience.
So this is where it gets really interesting. They're using AI to personalize technology recommendations
Oh, wow.
for individual employees.
Okay, so instead of that one-size-fits-all approach that a lot of companies take, they're actually customizing tech setups.
It's about making sure everyone has the tools that they need.
That seems like a logistical nightmare.
It sounds complicated, but their AI platform, GroWbot, can actually analyze how people use technology and then make personalized recommendations based on that data.
So, for example, a graphic designer might get a really powerful computer with an amazing graphics card.
Exactly.
But a sales rep might get like a super lightweight tablet.
Right.
That's perfect for presentations.
It's about optimizing for their specific needs.
It's interesting how GroWrk's seems to be approaching IT from both this global perspective and this individual perspective.
Absolutely.
It's not just about making things work on a large scale, but understanding how tech impacts each person.
They're managing the human element of IT.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive into GroWrk.
We have.
And I'm already seeing how their approach to this AI-driven IT asset management.
It's pretty remarkable.
It is. They're really pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
They are.
When we come back in part 2, I'd love to delve a bit deeper into some of the challenges.
Sure.
And the opportunities that they face, especially when it comes to operating on such a massive scale.
Sounds good. Welcome back to the deep dive, picking up our conversation about GroWrk.
Yeah, it's one thing to have a great idea.
Right.
But it's another thing entirely to actually execute it on a global scale.
Absolutely.
I'm really curious about the logistical challenges they face in managing all of this.
It's mind-boggling when you think about it.
Yeah.
The logistics of managing all these IT assets globally. I mean, different time zones, languages, regulations.
Right.
Not to mention just the sheer volume of equipment they're dealing with.
It's like trying to orchestrate a symphony across multiple continents at the same time.
Yeah.
How did they even begin to tackle that?
So they relied heavily on real-time data and AI to kind of make it all work.
Okay.
They have this incredibly sophisticated network of warehouses and distribution centers that are strategically placed all around the world.
So they're not just shipping everything from one central location.
No, it's a dynamic system that adapts to real-time demands. So their AI is constantly analyzing data from all sorts of sources, like inventory levels, shipping routes, even weather patterns.
Oh, okay.
To make sure that...
That's impressive.
Yeah.
But I imagine there are still hiccups along the way, right? I mean, what happens when something goes wrong?
Well, that's where the AI really shines.
Okay.
Because it can predict potential disruptions.
Right.
Like a shipping delay or a sudden surge in demand, and then it can proactively adjust the system to minimize the impact.
So it's like having a virtual air traffic controller. For IT assets, just constantly monitoring and adjusting the flow of equipment all over the world.
That's a great analogy, and that level of real-time management just wouldn't be possible without AI.
Yeah.
It's giving them this agility and responsiveness that we just haven't seen before.
And this all ties back to that idea of managing the entire IT lifecycle.
Exactly.
On a global scale, right?
Yeah.
So they're not just delivering equipment.
No, it's the whole journey.
Yeah, they're managing its entire journey from the moment it's manufactured to the moment it's retired or repurposed.
And that life cycle is becoming more and more complex as technology just keeps evolving at this crazy pace.
Yeah, which brings me to another question. How do they stay ahead of the curve?
It's a huge challenge.
Yeah.
But they seem to have this culture of continuous learning and adaptation built into their DNA.
So they're not just implementing AI, they're constantly evolving their AI systems.
Exactly. Yeah. They have dedicated teams that are researching and integrating all the latest advancements in AI and machine learning.
So they're constantly refining their algorithms and expanding what their platform can do.
That's the key to staying ahead.
It sounds like a lot of pressure.
It is.
To keep up. But I guess that's just kind of the nature of the game in the tech world.
Especially when you're leading the pack.
Yeah. Especially when you're at the forefront of a field like this.
It's high stakes.
Yeah. And it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about the people who are actually developing and implementing it.
The human element is crucial.
So what can you tell me about the team behind GroWrk?
It's an impressive group. They've brought together some of the brightest minds from all these different disciplines.
Right.
Data scientists, software engineers, logistics experts. They even have sustainability specialists on the team.
It's a very multidisciplinary approach.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Given the complexity of what they're trying to achieve.
Right. It's not just about, writing code.
It's about understanding the bigger picture.
Yeah. It's about understanding global logistics, the intricacies of hardware life cycles, the human impact of all of this technology.
They've created a really unique and collaborative environment.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And that spirit of collaboration is a big part of their success.
Uh-huh.
They're constantly sharing ideas and testing new approaches and learning from each other.
Okay, so we've talked about the logistical challenges.
Right.
The importance of staying ahead of the curve in terms of AI development.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another aspect we haven't really touched on yet.
Which is?
The human element.
Yeah.
You can't forget about the people who are actually using this technology every single day.
Absolutely.
As AI becomes more integrated into the workplace,
yeah.
There's a lot of talk about, the potential impact on jobs.
Right.
Some people are concerned about being replaced by machines.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
It's a valid concern, but I think we need to frame the discussion a little differently.
Okay.
It's not about humans versus machines.
Right.
It's about humans and machines working together.
So instead of viewing AI as a threat,
yeah,
we should see it as a tool.
Exactly.
That can enhance our capabilities.
It can automate those tedious tasks.
Yeah.
Analyze huge data sets.
Yeah.
Provide insights that humans just couldn't do on their own.
And that frees up humans to focus on
the more creative and strategic work.
Yeah.
The things that require, critical thinking and empathy.
And I imagine that kind of collaboration requires a certain level of trust.
Oh, absolutely.
Between humans and these AI systems.
People need to feel comfortable working alongside AI and understand its limitations.
Right. So it's important for companies like GroWrk to be transparent.
Transparency is key.
About how their AI systems work and how they're being used.
It builds trust.
Yeah, it sounds like GroWrk is taking that responsibility seriously.
They seem to be.
They're not just, throwing AI into the mix and hoping for the best.
Right.
They're carefully considering the human impact.
And they're creating a collaborative environment where humans and machines can both thrive.
They're putting a lot of emphasis on training and education. So their employees really understand how to work effectively with these AI systems.
It's about empowering them.
Yeah, and how to leverage AI to their advantage.
Exactly.
It's interesting how they're approaching this human element of AI implementation.
It's a holistic approach.
Yeah, they're not just focused on the technical aspects.
We're thinking about the cultural and societal implications as well.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive into GroWrk.
We have.
From the logistical challenges of managing this global IT lifecycle.
It's a huge undertaking.
It is, to this kind of evolving relationship between humans and AI in the workplace.
It's a fascinating time to be following this.
It is. As we move into the final part of our conversation, I'm really interested to explore what the future holds for GroWrk.
Right.
And for this whole field of AI-driven IT management in general.
It's going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. As we wrap up our exploration of GroWrk, I'm really curious to hear your predictions for the future.
Yeah, it's hard to say for sure, but they've definitely made a big splash in IT asset management.
They have.
But where do they go from here,
Right, so you're saying this is just the tip of the iceberg.
I think so, yeah.
What kind of advancements do you see on the horizon for GroWrk?
Well, I think we'll see them continue to improve those predictive capabilities.
Okay.
So imagine GroWbot not only predicting hardware failures,
right,
but also cybersecurity threats.
Oh, wow.
Or even anticipating shifts in user needs
based on
emerging technologies.
Okay, so it's like creating this self-healing IT ecosystem that can adapt to almost anything.
Exactly. And I also think they'll keep pushing those boundaries of personalization.
Yeah.
We talked about the customized tech recommendations, but imagine a world where your entire digital workspace adapts to you, to your preferences, your work style, all in real time.
That's kind of blowing my mind.
It is pretty wild.
It's like having a virtual assistant that knows what I need before I even know I need it.
That's the power of AI, right?
Yeah.
It can see those patterns, understand those preferences in ways that we just can't as humans.
But all of this requires a ton of data, right?
It does.
And as GroWrk gathers more data, their AI is going to get even smarter.
More sophisticated, more intuitive for sure.
But let's not forget about the global side of things.
Right.
Managing IT assets on a global scale is already a huge task.
It's massive.
So how do they plan to handle the growing complexities of a globalized world?
Well, I think they'll use AI to optimize that global logistics network.
In what ways?
So think like AI-powered drones delivering equipment to remote places.
Oh, wow.
Or like self-driving vehicles navigating those complex shipping routes.
It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
I know, but it's closer than you think.
And GroWrk is right at the forefront of all of this.
They're leading the charge, for sure.
And I think they're also going to play a key role in shaping how we think about responsible AI.
Yes.
On a global scale.
As we rely more and more on AI systems,
right.
It's so important to have companies like GroWrk who are really prioritizing ethical data practices and transparency.
It's a big responsibility.
It is.
But it seems like they're up for the challenge.
I think so. They've shown that they're committed to sustainability.
Right.
Ethical data use, that human-centric approach to AI.
And that's what makes them stand out.
It does.
It's not just about building technology.
It's about building a better future.
Yeah, a future where technology empowers us all.
Individuals, businesses, even entire societies.
Well, it's been a fascinating deep dive into GroWrk.
It has.
And the power of AI to transform IT asset management.
They're definitely a company to watch.
They are, for sure. Big thanks to you for sharing your expertise.
My pleasure.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this journey.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.